Hello everyone. Welcome to the channel Lang and Lit. In today's video, I'll be giving you a simply explained detailed summary of the chapter Rat Trap from class 12th CBSE syllabus. Before talking about the topic of today, I would like to tell you briefly about my channel. It is a channel dedicated to English studies. It covers wide range of topics from vocabulary building, English of class 11th and 12th CBSE, spoken English, excellent communication skills, and the English for competitions. You can have a look at all from the given playlist and videos. So, subscribe to the channel now by pressing the subscribe button in the red below. Let's begin with the main content. I will give you a comprehensive view of the chapter, starting from the author, detailed summary, and the theme. So keep watching till the end. Let's talk about the author of the chapter. She is Selma Lagerlof. She was born on November 20th, 1858 and passed away 16th March 1940. She was a Swedish writer and was the first female to win a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1909. Her most remembered book is The Wonderful Adventure of Nils. Initially a teacher, in 1895, she devoted herself completely to writing. She wrote several books including novels and collection of stories such as Gosta's Berling Saga, Invisible Links, and The Miracle of the Antichrist. This story which we are about to begin with, The Rat Trap, is being set in Sweden itself and in the iron fields of Sweden. So we are going to have the background as the iron fields or the fields of Sweden where iron mills are situated. Now let's start with the detailed summary of the chapter. Once there was a man who used to sell small rat traps made up of wire. These rat traps were made by him in his free time. He used to collect the material required by begging from the stores or big farms. Still, his business of rat trap selling was not earning him any profits. Therefore, from time to time, he either had to beg or steal in order to survive. His clothes were old and torn. His cheeks were lowered inside due to malnutrition, and one could easily see the hunger in his eyes because he could not get much food for his daily living. The life of the rat trap seller was very sad and boring. He was homeless and slowly, with heavy feet, he used to walk along the roads, lost in his own thoughts. But one day, he got lost in the series of thought which he found very interesting. And that was, the man was thinking about the rat trap, and suddenly a thought came to his mind that the whole world, which includes land, seas, cities, villages, was similar to a rat trap. He started comparing this whole world to the rat trap. He thought there was no meaning of the existence of the world. It was nothing but temptation, just like cheese or pork, which we offer as a bait to catch the rat. So according to him, as soon as someone tries to comfort himself with joy, food and shelter, he at once gets trapped into the rat trap which is known as the world. No one in the world had ever been kind to the rat trap seller, so he started thinking ill of others too. It became a favorite pastime for him. During dull moments, these thoughts made him happy. So he continued with thinking ill of those who were not known to him. He would imagine those people who were already trapped in the rat trap of the worldly things, and also those who were about to get trapped into it. So thinking about these people who have never accepted him as a comrade, as a friend, or even as a social being, they were criticized by him in his own manner, in his thoughts. He was taking, you can say, revenge on them in his mind by thinking ill of them. One evening, the rat trap seller was walking very slowly. He saw a little grey cottage which stood by the road. he went up to the cottage and knocked at the door, so as to get shelter for that night. Generally, he was not helped by anybody, but this time he was welcomed by the old man into his cottage. He was a lonely old man without wife or kids. The old man was happy to get company that night, so the old man gave him some porridge to eat and then shared his tobacco even with his guest. After this, both of them played a game of Majolis at till the bedtime. Now the rat trap seller felt that the old man was not only liberal in sharing his porridge but also his secrets. He tells him that he was a rich man when he used to work on the rented farm. As he was old now, he could not work, so he had to depend upon his cow for his living. The cow gave him enough milk for every day to be sold into a factory, a creamery that used to produce cheese and cream. The old man said that he was able to earn 30 kroners last month because of the cow's milk. And not only he told him that he has earned this much of money, but he showed the rat trap seller the money, the place where he kept his money. The rat trap seller did not believe the old man's word that a cow could earn him so much. Therefore, the old man took a leather pouch which hung on the window and took out 3 notes of 10 kroners, each of which were old and crushed. He showed those currency notes to make him believe his words and then kept them back into the pouch. But this was noticed and noted by the rat trap seller. Now, the next morning, both the rat trap seller and the crofter woke up as the crofter was in a hurry to milk his cow. Even the rat trap seller felt that as the owner of the house was awakened, so he should leave the bed. They both came out of the cottage at the same time. The old man locked the door and went to his work. The rat trap seller also thanked him and went on his own way. After about half an hour, the rat trap seller returned to the cottage and he broke down the window pane where the pouch hung. He took away the money, kept it in his pocket, put the pouch back at its place and walked off. So he stole money of the old crofter who had helped him, who had been very hospitable to him by the night time. And today in the morning, he has stolen away his money from his house. Now the peddler was quite happy as he had money in his pocket. Then he thought of walking through the forest as it was unsafe to walk on the highway because he feared being caught by the police or the people if the old crofter informs anybody. So initially it was not difficult to walk through the forest, but later on it got confusing for as he forgot his way. He tried hard to walk the right direction, but all was in vain, as he found himself at the same place again and again. At this point of time, he started thinking that now he has himself caught in the trap of the world, just like other people. He was fooled by the bait of that money of the crofter, which he had stolen from the old man's house. The forest seemed like a prison full of trunks and branches. It was like impassable prison for him. As it was the month of December, it got dark early. As it got dark, his hopes of escaping the forest reduced. The danger to his life increased, and so did his feeling of being hopeless. There was no way left for him. So he sat on the ground and was so tired and terrified that he thought this was his last moment and soon he would die. As he laid his head on the ground, he heard a very strong, regular thumping sound. It was a hard sound that was coming at regular intervals. He soon realized that these sounds were the sounds of a hammer's strokes from an iron mill. He thought that he would find some people nearby. With his thought, he gathered some strength and started walking with great difficulty towards the direction of the sound. The Ramshaw Ironwork was a large plant which had shut down few years ago. It had a smelter, rolling mill, and forge. In summers, long flat-bottomed boats carrying the material would come down to the canal, which led to a large inland lake for supplying material to the mill, and in the winters the roads turned black because of the coal that came along due to the transportation of the charcoal carters. Now this was the mill from which the voice was coming. The thumping sound was the thumping of a hammer on the iron to mold it, to melt it. On one long dark evening near Christmas time, the master smith and his helper were sitting in the dark forge which was built near the furnace. He was wearing a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. Both of them were waiting for the pig iron which was put inside the furnace fire to be ready to put into the anvil. They took turns to stir the liquid, which was very hot, as they could bear the heat for few minutes only. Each of them would return sweating. Now, many homeless people used to get attracted to the lights of the forge, which beaconed through the windows, which were covered with black powder of burnt coal. They could seek shelter there. They would warm themselves with the help of burning fire. As the blacksmiths were accustomed to such visitors, they were indifferent to our rat trap sailor even. They just looked at him. The rat trap sailor's appearance was similar to that of other wanderers. He had a long beard, was dirty, wore old worn-out clothes, and had bunch of rat traps hanging from his chest. And he asked permission from the main man, and he said yes to it, that he may lie down over there for the night. The peddler also said nothing because his main aim was to just warm himself and sleep. The owner of the iron mill in those days was a very ambitious person whose aim was to sell the finest of iron into the market. Therefore, he used to keep a check on the workers both during night and day. He used to come for regular inspections in the night even. When the iron master came to the mill, he noticed at once that someone was sleeping near the furnace. He went near him and also removed the wanderer's hat that was bent on one side of his face. When the iron master took off the peddler's hat, he mistook him as his old acquaintance, Niels Olof. The peddler did not know him or had ever seen him before, but he thought that this man had mistook him to be his old companion and would give him some money out of pity. Then it would be a good thing. So this peddler did not disclose his own identity in front of the iron mill master. So the peddler started a conversation with the iron master by saying that things went well with him. To this, the iron master replied that he made a big mistake by leaving the regiment. He also added that if he would have been working in the regiment when he resigned, he wouldn't have left him to do so. Later on, he invited him to his home. But the rat trap seller did not find it a good idea to visit the iron master's house. He was frightened with the idea of visiting the large house of an old soldier, which according to him was not safe. After all, he had stolen money with the old crofter. He did not want to put himself into danger. His intentions were to sleep in the forge and then go away from there without being noticed. The iron master was aware of his friend's miserable condition. He had pity on him, so he tried to make him comfortable by saying that he should feel free to come to his home, as his home was an ordinary one. He told him that his wife was no more and added that he must be aware of this. Then he let him know that both his sons were settled abroad. Only he and his daughter were left at home. He invited him to celebrate Christmas with his family so that he and his daughter may have some good company on the Christmas feast. Though the iron master tried to convince the peddler, but the peddler did not agree to it, and then the iron master had to leave alone. After a gap of half an hour, the iron master sent his daughter. He hoped that his daughter may bring his friend home, as he believed that she was better in persuading others. The iron master's daughter entered the mill with her attendant, who was carrying a big fur coat. She was a very humble girl who was very shy. When she entered, everyone was busy the same way as they had been earlier. She went up to the peddler and lifted his hat. The peddler slept with one eye open. As soon as he saw her, he got shocked and jumped off. She introduced herself as Edla Wilmanson and was sorry to hear about the hard times he was facing. She explained him that she had come to take him home with her father's permission. And then Edla had sympathy on the peddler, but then she noticed the reason behind his fear could be that either he had committed any robbery or jailbreak. So she said he was free to leave their house at any time he wanted to. So at this thing, the peddler became comfortable and he agreed to come with Edla. So Edla and the rat trap seller, both of them in the carriage, went to the manor house. The next day was Christmas Eve. Both the ironmaster and his daughter were at the dining table. The ironmaster said to his daughter that they had to do something good for the peddler and should try to find him a better job. The ironmaster's daughter said it was very strange to see that the peddler had been in such hard times and was doubtful whether the man had been educated. Hearing this, the ironmaster clarified that it was due to his bad condition. He also added the man would behave differently after getting clean and dressed up. While both the father and the daughter were discussing about the peddler, he entered the room with the valet. He was looking clean as he had bathed and his hair had been cut by a valet. He was wearing the ironmaster's clothes and shoes, a shirt with a starched collar and shoes with covered the entire feet. The ironmaster seemed to be very angry to see him, as he was well-groomed guest, as now he could make out his appearance well and realized that he was not his comrade, he was not his friend. He understood that he mistook some stranger as his old friend. He screamed at him and asked him to explain. The peddler knew that the ironmaster could make out that he was not his old friend. As he already knew this, he was ready with the consequences and felt that the luxurious treatment was about to end. The peddler tried to explain that he should not to be blamed. He said that he was just begging for a stay in the forge. He also said that he did not have harmed anybody and was ready to wear his rags and go back. To this, the ironmaster hesitated and said the peddler had not been quite honest, and so he wanted it to call the sheriff. Sheriff means the police. Okay, he wanted the police to come and interfere in this matter because this man has cheated them. The rat trap seller on this gets so enraged upon hearing this that he struck the table very hard with his fist. He said that the world is a rat trap and all good things are bait. Just like the rind of cheese and small pieces of pork are the bait for the rat which are offered to trap it. Not only this, he also pointed out to the ironmaster that he may today be imprisoned by the police, but one day the ironmaster will get trapped like this. The ironmaster did not like the peddler's word and decided not to call the sheriff. He asked the peddler to leave at once. The ironmaster's daughter, Edla, stopped the peddler. She wanted to help the poor fellow. Since morning, she was planning how she could make the peddler's day happy on the occasion of Christmas. Therefore, she went against the father's will and stopped him by closing the door. She tried to explain the difficulties faced by the peddler to her father. She said that he did not have any house, he was turned out from wherever he went and he always kept running in order to safeguard himself from being arrested. She said that she wanted him to enjoy Christmas with peace as they promised him. They should not send this man on Christmas, the man whom they had promised happiness on the day. The ironmaster was not able to find an answer to go against his daughter, so he let the peddler remain at their home and celebrate Christmas this time. The only thing he could do or say to his daughter was that she was trying good at convincing others, better than the priest at the church, but he also warned her that hopefully her decision would not bring any adverse effect on them. The girl took the peddler to the table and offered him food. She saw that the father had consented to her wish. The peddler did not say any word and started eating, though he was doubtful about her intentions and was wondering why she stopped him. The peddler went to the sleep after having food. He did not cause harm to anyone and lay down on the sofa in the guest house. He was once woken up in the afternoon, but after having his lunch, he again went to sleep. It was like if he had never got the chance to sleep so peacefully as he got at this place. In the evening, the family woke up as they had to light up the Christmas tree. He stood there, blinking as if it was getting hurt by the bright light of the candles. He again went to sleep. Finally, they called him again for dinner and for the Christmas fish and porridge. After the dinner was over, the peddler thanked everyone present. The ironmaster's daughter said that the clothes which were given to him are his Christmas gift, so he could carry them with him. She even invited the peddler to be with her family for the next Christmas Eve and promised that nothing bad would happen. The peddler did not have an answer to this and stared at the girl with wonder. Next day, both Ironmaster and his daughter went for the Christmas service early in the morning to the church. They did not disturb the guest as he was asleep. Both Ironmaster and his daughter had come to know that the rat trap seller had stolen money from the old crofter when they were socializing in the church. They realized that he was the same man they had left as a guest. Then they started off to their home very early. The ironmaster, on reaching the home, inquired about the peddler from the valet. He also told him that he was a thief. To his surprise, the valet told him that the peddler, instead of taking something from their home, has instead left a Christmas gift for Miss Wilminson. The ironmaster's daughter opened the gift. It was so roughly packed that she could easily guess that was what was inside. Apart from the rat trap, the 3 kroner notes, there was a letter. So in the gift there were three things. First, the gift, the rat trap. The next were the three notes which he had stolen from the old crofter, and then there was even a letter. The peddler had thanked his host in that letter, who had taken care. The host is Edla Wilminson. The letter was addressed to, or you can say, meant for only Edla Wilminson, who had taken care of him as if he was a real captain. In return, he gifted her a rat trap and also requested her to return the stolen money to the old man. He said it was she who let him free from the rat trap by raising his status from that of a mere peddler to that of a captain. At last, he undersigned as Captain Von Star. The theme of the story is that most human beings are prone to fall into the trap of the material benefits. However, every human being has an essential goodness that can be awakened through understanding, love, and compassion. A human being has a tendency to redeem himself from his dishonest ways. The theme is developed with the help of a metaphor of the rat trap. The peddler of the rat trap calls the world as a big rat trap. The material benefits like riches and joys of shelter, a big home and food, clothing are all temptations that tempt a person to fall into the rat trap of the world, exactly as the bait of the cheese or pork attracts a rat to fall into the rat trap. Once someone takes the bait of the world, then the rat trap closes on him and he is lost. The peddler is tempted by the 30 kroners of the old crofter. He steals the money. Now he is afraid of being caught and moves through the woods. It is the kind, sympathetic, loving, and generous treatment given by Edla Wilminson that helps him get himself free from the rat trap of the world.